How's everything else going out there? Okay.
Seems like they got the green screen up there.
So there is no backup in this?
No, I guess not.
Dylan said he was trying to get the presentation.
I give it to him. Or I give it to Andrew, who's supposed to give it to him.
Well, just give me a call if you need anything.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Are we ready?
Are you ready?
Can we, do we have a, we'll have Holly do it. Okay, let's let Holly know.
Yeah. You know, when to start the time. I'll put a 5-minute wrap up.
Oh, okay, do you want to, go ahead and start it.
That's on the first slide, right?
Yeah.
All right, I am Holly Longdale, senior producer at EverQuest 2. We have a ton to talk about today. So overall, we're going to take just a quick look back at what we've been doing since we talked to you here last year. A very quick look. But what we want to focus on, of course, is what's to come. So of course, we announced our expansion last night, Altar of Malice, our 11th expansion, which will launch on the 11/11 for all access members. It'll be launching on November 25th for all players. So if we have time, we've got a lot to talk about, like I said, if we have time at the end, we're going to invite you to come
tighter,
up,
yes.
and ask some questions. And then after this, we have a Q&A panel right next door, so we can continue to answer.
They're saying the sound is kind of bad, in the stream anyway.
After what you see here today. Happy 10th anniversary.
Yeah, I'm going with the shots. They're talking about the sound being bad.
About how?
I don't know. It says it sounds like her mic was off. Turn her mic on. It is on. Okay, I don't.
We're always raising the bar, as I said last night. And it's been really cool for us lately to invite some of you to help us
Wrong
develop
audio
the game.
source.
And to talk a little about that, I'd like to invite Tim Highlar, our art director, and Dave Brown, our assistant.
We hear you guys in the control room. Do we have an open mic? They hear us somewhere.
I'm Dave Brown, assistant art director.
So what we've got up there is just a small snapshot of the types of items and people sitting in here are creating. We want to go through some of those items with you today. For those who don't know what Player Studio is, it's a program where basically anyone can create items for EverQuest.
Are they listening to those guys? The other
You
mics?
can submit them to us if they're accepted. They'll go into our
The other mics are muted? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we have a number of categories, a handful of categories that we support right now. Anything from house items, clothes, weapons, shields, and we'll be opening up bows soon also. So let's take a look at some items that we've created, that you have created for us.
Lots of items, huge items, those rooftops, spiral staircases,
Clothes.
weapons. That fiddle's our #1 Player Studio selling weapon.
People love to beat the fiddle.
And all sorts of various items. We got, bathtubs, pool toys, hookahs, lawn ornaments, the first toilet in NORAD.
You have an open mic somewhere.
They've been open for a long time.
It shouldn't be.
And then Derek here,
I have it muted anyway.
All right. Ask him about the first version he submitted and why it was declined. Saying we want new toilets, not used toilets. So basically,
Yeah, so if you want to check out Player Studio, just go to playerstudio.com. You want to make stuff for us. You can also check out the Player Studio panel we're having tomorrow, Saturday at 9 a.m. right here in this room.
yeah, thanks a lot.
bug fixes, occasionally we would add a bit of content or a feature tweak. This January, we wanted to focus our efforts more. And what we announced was that we were going to do regular updates with monthly chunks of content we wanted you to be able to sink your teeth into. So since January, let's take a look at some of the content we have released. It is an incredible list of stats, and we've been so excited to do it. So let's highlight just a few of them. We did our fabled Kingdom of Sky zones in January. We gave you 3 heritage quests. This was Slandakar's Heart. We gave you the Optimist and Darklight Prestige homes, and you voted on this last year. And pretty soon coming up, we're going to ask you to tell us what you want us to make next, so we'll do another poll. And we released the contested version of High Keep from our Tears of Vishen expansion. And we did the Elite Guild Hall, so we wanted to give you something really cool to decorate for your guilds. And then raids. We've added new raids to the game since January. Dreadscale's Maw and Death Toll. And of course, it's really important to us that we focus on our holidays. We love our holidays. So everything we've been doing the past year has been an addition. So new content and items that you can discover. Knights of the Dead last year. We gave you a brand new Frostbell zone with new content. Brew Day, ever important in our game. And last year we gave you the ground mount meat beast, or sorry, Bodok, to be accurate. And you asked us for a flying version. So our very intrepid character artists, Tom Toby and Christopher Atkins, they take their character research very seriously, as you can see here. And so after this, they looked on the forums and were looking for feedback for what their next project might be, which led us to this.
Hello, I'm Tom Stowe, Senior Senior Manager in EverQuest 2. And this is Mr. Hobbs. There you go. Appreciate it. I need Mr. Hobbs. Thank you. Hello, I'm C. Scott Atkins III, Character Artist on EverQuest 2. You can get a little silly around here, and it's kind of a little bit in. We make games for adults that are serious. For a typical approach to kind of starting it off, we had some crazy fan requesting ridiculous things. We put that to heart. So to get back to a serious game, we thought we really need to make some epic looking stats. What kind of beasts would have a nose ring, antlers, and crazy armor like this? There's only a couple kinds. So we ended up taking these and trying to match and spell and make something very feral. So we spent a lot of time delivering you guys these rabbits, making sure that everything was realistic and copacetic. Here's what we gave you. A new rabbit. We roll good, and they are Reaper guys. So we'll have all of them. So on behalf of the EverQuest team and Mr. Hobbs, we say, have a great time adventuring and going at it. And see you again.
Can you pull on this?
Earlier this year, we released the All Access membership program, as you know, and it was important for us to give you some benefits. So we've been doing things like giving you early access to content. We've been giving you member-only weekends. So also, in Tears of Vishen, if you've been hankering for a piece of rare loot that you haven't been able to acquire, we're going to start with rare heroic jewelry from Tears of Vishen on a new merchant. So we want you to be able to gear up your characters and prepare for the expansion as well. So look for that coming soon. Our very first PvP deathmatch zone, it's a 6-on-6. It's based on a Rowan Thier theme, and what's really cool about this zone, other than the obvious, you're going to have to watch not only other players, but there's going to be traps and power-ups in this environment, and not only that, they're going to move around this board. So we're really excited about this coming out soon this fall. And because we've been adding a lot of status items and plan to do more, we thought it would be cool if you could sell your collection items for status. So that's going to be coming soon. And I'm sure every broker just saw the loss and purchase of every collection item on them. We're super excited too, Grandmaster spells. We're going to be offering you the ability to research and scribe all of them at every level in the game. So that's coming soon. Yeah, yay. And then, of course, on November 9th, our official 10th anniversary, we're adding new content to our Heroes Festival, of course. But we're super excited to be able to announce that our 10-year veterans will get... You will get a free Isle of Refuge Prestige home. Technically, it's the 11th item. In addition to that, you're going to get a starter population pack that goes with it with some characters that are reminiscent of the original Isle of Refuge. So possibly Bladefin the shark might be in that pack. So yeah, so that's coming. And as always, we're always looking into the future. Very ambitious team, as you know. The deity system, great. Yeah, we love the deity system, and of course it hasn't had some personal attention for a while. So next year we're going to be updating it with miracles and blessings and perhaps the opportunity for you to worship more than one God. Yeah. So, oops, I went backwards. All right. So we do love the idea of our public quest system because we want our world to feel alive. So we want to redesign it. It's a very complicated system for our designers. So we're going to make it easier to put quests in the game, and also we're going to focus some time on making your contribution rewarding. So that'll be coming next year. And we'll tackle Fabled Echoes of Fadewar next year. The first two we'll be looking at are Inner Sanctum and Crypt of Valdoon. Cross-server dungeons. Yeah, so we're super excited about this. Yeah. So the cool thing is, what this starts with is a lot of back-end work for us to be able to do this that will provide benefits for the game on every server. So improvements, benefits, and definitely for the development team, some benefits. So we'll be doing that back-end work this winter, and we'll try and get to this as soon as we possibly can, because obviously we're super excited about it. That's me being excited. And then, of course, after 10 incredible years, as I said last night, our 11th expansion, launching on 11/11, Altar of Malice, and this is perhaps some of our favorite key art we've had. So, yeah, so main character, that's Lannis Taville. Yeah. It's always good to have a badass like her around to carry our incredible story, and there's a lot more detail in this story that we'll get into here. So I'll give you the high-level stuff. So we are raising the level cap to 100, as most of you probably know. It's not just for adventurers, but for trade skillers too. As we promised earlier this year, we said we wanted to focus our time on the expansion this year and give you a bigger expansion, a bigger one than we've done in quite some time, and we are doing that. We've got 14 heroic zones, 6 raids, 6 advanced solo zones, 2 full contested zones, 2 amazingly beautiful overlands that are built in our brand new terrain tool, which the artists are going to show you, and 4 new avatars of the gods that are going to be linked to this expansion specifically. And prestige abilities to level 100. We've got a couple of examples here for you. This one, called Shadow, is for brigands. It's going to allow a brigand to summon a shadow that's going to mimic some of your positional attacks for additional damage for the duration of the spell. So that's a cool new functionality we have, as well as this one. This is for illusionists. It's called Temporal Mimicry. This is going to allow an illusionist to target an ally, a wizard, let's say a spellcaster. And for the duration of this spell, I'm going to imitate the spells you cast. So a wizard casts Ice Comet, I cast it too. Yeah, so for the duration of that spell, yeah. So you can say thank you to our systems team tomorrow. So in the systems panel, our systems team is going to go over some of these in detail, so you won't want to miss that. They've got some really cool stuff coming for you. Trade Skill Apprentice, we are adding to this expansion. It's going to offer you some of the best in slot items in the game. Loot to play your way. So last year at SOE Live, the team talked about our itemization Magna Carta, and we want to continue with that, which is, we want to give you a great variety of loot so you can customize your character for the way you like to play. So we will continue that. We'll be extending the Grandmasters to all the spells in our expansion as well to level 100. And if you want to upgrade those further, we're going to have rare ancient spell scrolls available in the expansion. Here's an example that may or may not make it into the game. We'll see. It looks good to us. And of course, every time we release an expansion, we usually have a couple of features that go live around the same time. So of course, guild level to 100 seemed an obvious one to us, and with that, you'll be able to upgrade a lot of your amenities. And we're super excited to, again, see, this is me being super excited. We are thrilled to announce a brand new playable race, the Erican. Yeah, they're amazing. So these beautiful dragonkin creatures, you have customizable horns based on patterns from famous dragons in our game. You have unique combat animations, which are wing attacks. You're going to be able to choose your scale color, your hair color, your wing color. And your wings are going to advance over time, not that you start with wee little sad wings. They're going to be cool the entire way through, but by level 85, your wings are going to be fully functional flying mount wings. So yeah, we're super excited about that, and they're beautiful. And so that's like the high-level overview of our expansion, but we want to get into the meat and the dark, sinister nature of this expansion. So as you know, the world in Norath never stands still, so we thought we'd bring a storyteller onto the stage to tell you a tale of heroes and villains leading up to the altar of Malice. I welcome Jeff the Bard.
So many years, so many battles, countless days of wondering whether tomorrow was going to be our last, wondering when he'd strike, if he'd strike, and what would happen. Would it be fire and brimstone? Would the earth shake and tremble? Or would it be so fast we wouldn't feel anything at all? But no, it never happened like that. Oh, he struck at us, but he used proxies and puppets to do it. He used us against each other. The earth never trembled, but his plans always moved forward. And if you were savvy, you could see where it was all headed. Age's end, step by inevitable step. And so we fought. We kept fighting, and we never stopped. I was there to watch, to put pen to paper and ensure that our story was told. To be sure that if we fell, someone else could pick up the pieces. And so I can tell the tale of how Cordon picked up the swords of destiny and held Ker'in off as Jorlak turned back time on Lucklin. But to truly understand, we have to start from the beginning. I know for me, once it was the end of the world, I was out of a job. There wouldn't be anybody left to tell stories to, and corpses don't pay coin for song. So when Antonia asked for heroes to step up, I joined the great multitudes of you already there. And Ker'in underestimated us. The worst thing he could have done was unite Norath against him. Instead of looking at Freeport as this weapon that Lucan used against us, they were our allies. Uneasy allies. Allies that would kill you just as soon as say hi to you. But we were working together for the first time in anyone's memory. And we pushed. We pushed through Velius. We pushed through Withered Lands. We pushed through Cobalt Scar. We pushed through Sky Shrine. We were winning. Ker'in could only watch as his awakened lost ground every step of the way. I sang songs for the troops. I sang songs for the heroes gathered there, not for some small pittance of coin, but because I was proud of what we'd done. I was finally part of something that mattered. But then it was all taken away from me. I'll never forget the sound Antonia made when Lucan tore the soul from her father's body. There was nothing left of him. That sound she made will haunt me until the last of my days. It marked the end of everything. Our leaders failed us. The new Combine was shattered. Ker'in had moved into ether near itself, untouchable by mortal hands. His drakes relentlessly attacked our great cities. We were helpless. Except, you surprised me. You pushed the squabbling leaders aside. You made your own way. We broke the rules of Etherneer, defied Drenal in his very own plane. We flew up to Ker'in's front door, knocked on it, and didn't bother to wait for an answer. His shock troops fell, his Erikin fell, his great draconic generals fell. We showed the world what it meant to be a hero, to step up when our leaders were too busy fighting amongst themselves. I was there. I was there when Velkin convinced Rowan Thyr to pick up his swords again. I was there when Jorlak figured out what the Chelsea Stone really meant. I was there when Yarlwin picked up Lifebringer and used it to keep that great prismatic worm at bay. When that day was over, who was victorious? You. Did Ker'in still stand that day? You. Did you fall to his breath? Or did you persevere through pain and anguish for the very future of Norath itself? All of you here played some part. Let me hear your voices. Let me hear that you still stand. Let me hear from the heroes of Norath! We won that day. Age's End was not the ending any of us anticipated. It was not the end of Norath. It was not the end of anything other than Ker'in himself. I can look up at Lucklin and know I will never see his shadow again. And now? Well, I find my hands idle now. There is an uneasy silence. One age ends and another begins, but what will it bring? What tales are still left to be told? I know this. Antonia will never forgive Lucan for what he did to her father. And I don't think Keynote will either. You can feel it in the air of our cities. One war ends, and another threatens to begin. She talked to me today. She told me a secret. And so tomorrow, I board a boat headed towards the shattered seas, towards the isle I once called a place of refuge. To do what? I cannot say. But be sure, I'll tell you all about it when I return.
The cool thing is, you may not know, his name actually is Jeff Bard. Yeah, kind of lucky, right? And there's going to be a quiz on that license later. And so now we want to take you deep into Altar of Malice. You're going to see a lot of incredible zones and characters. And to do that, I would like to invite Akil Hooper, Creative Director of EverQuest 2 and EverQuest, Tim Heidlar, Art Director, and Dave Brown, Assistant Art Director, to the stage to tell you more about it. Thanks, guys.
Ready? Oh, I'm ready. All right. Hi, everyone. So to give you a brief look into where we're going in the Altar of Malice, you're going to be traveling to the Shattered Seas at the behest of the monarchs. You're traveling there to try and figure out why the sales of Farseaf Trading Company has gone silent and what happened to the emissaries from Keynote and Freeport who were sent to broker a deal with them. While you're there, you'll stumble across a trail of destruction with a man named Captain Greymast at the leading edge. Your pursuit of Greymast will lead you overseas and volcanic islands, through besieged temples, forgotten temples, and castles. And you'll stumble across the machinations of a demigod and a cult of forgotten priests. Your first stop in the Shattered Seas is the Tranquil Sea and the Isle of Refuge. It is here where you witness firsthand the trail of destruction that sent Greymast on his guilty flight. Next, you'll travel to the island of Deathweave, where a group called the Urzarak live in an uneasy peace with the pirates underneath them. Finally, the island of Deshin, where a group of pygmies live in uneasy harmony with the dinosaurs that consume them.
Poor guys.
Yeah.
Come on, you can do it. All right. So first I'd like to mention that both overland zones you'll be seeing, this was the first, were created in our new terrain tool, which has allowed us to create better looking zones faster. We'll talk much more about that tomorrow at 10, that room, I think. Anyway, you start on the Isle of Refuge, as Akil said, and what we wanted to do here was take the original layout and a lot of the familiar landmarks and reimagine them against the new lore. We've got the Chieftain's Hut, the Mage Tower, which you kind of saw is blown to high hell, and of course Bladefin Bay, where Bladefin may or may not still be. Then you travel to Deathweave Isle. Deathweave Isle is a lush and tropical landscape home to the Urzarak. And finally, South Deshin. Deshin is a hostile and volcanic environment home to some brand new massive creatures.
Yeah, for this area we want to give each zone its own unique inhabitants. So we'll have things such as these giant beasts here, roaming lands, and also these awesome lava pygmies.
What happens to them?
They get eaten by dinosaurs. That's them. Yeah, anything's always possible.
The other half of the Shattered Seas are the Phantom Seas. It's here where you'll find Kithakor Forest. A haunted forest that is given over to the undead once night falls. Yeah? You'll also find the cult of the primordial Malice here, a group of priests and priestesses who are devoted to a child of hate. There's some more Kithakor. And far above Kithakor, in just a moment here, you'll see Highhold. Highhold is the outpost of the Far Seas Trading Company in Norath, in the heart of their operations. And far to the east lies Grimshales, a massive shard of Luckland that slammed into the Phantom Seas and hides a forgotten temple deep in its bowels.
Every time.
Here we go.
So the first thing we wanted to do with the Phantom Seas was to pedestal Highhold far above it. We saw Highhold as acting as somewhat of a lighthouse, a reference point for the Far Seas Empire. And below that we have Kithakor. With Kithakor, we wanted to invoke that sense of uncertainty and confusion. If we took away your map and compass, would you get lost? Would you question or maybe fear what's around that corner? And then there's the Grimshales. The Grimshales was created entirely by the collision of the Shara Temple into the Shattered Seas. We've got fractured and uneven ground everywhere, ruins scattered from the collision, and something maybe below the surface. Bowels.
Bowels. Shra, the great temple and home to the four-armed Akivans, is the forgotten temple from the Moon of Luckland, the once shattered Moon of Luckland. It crashed encapsulated into the Phantom Seas and hides dread secrets in its depths.
This is going to be fun.
This is fun.
All right. So that's clearly not the zone. But I had to explain a little bit because what you saw might have looked a little bit different. So a bit of history here. Back during Velius, we decided to create our first multi-floored, fully tilted dungeon, the Tower of Frozen Shadow. It was actually just 2 degrees of tilt. It was a huge pain in the butt for both art and design. I'm still not sure if I'm friends with Carlos over there after doing that to him. So apparently in a huge lapse in judgment earlier this year, we decided, hey, how about we take a classic pyramid-shaped dungeon, turn it upside down, and then ram it into the Shattered Seas, and make sure it was fully playable. So we've got an upside-down dungeon that's a pain in the ass as well. As for what you'll find here, it's heavily based on the original, so you'll have to kind of explore to find out on your own.
Yeah, and for this area, we actually, we don't want to show everything, so we want you to actually explore in this area and see some of the ancient creatures that we have waiting for you.
Huge shinies.
Yes.
Our next dungeon is Castle Highhold. Castle Highhold is currently under siege by the Akevans. They're looking for someone or something protected by its walls. It is here where you'll begin to unravel Grey Mist's role in the devastation.
You'll get all that furniture, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Pausing, wait for it.
There we go. Don't want to go too far. So with Highhold, from the exterior, we knew it acted as a beacon. But from the interior, we wanted it to feel impenetrable, defensive, yet homely with a rich, bustling courtyard and massive castle interior that was kind of reflective of the status of the Far Seas Empire.
Now for this area, they're being taken over by the four-armed Akevan. But if that's not enough limbs to take you down, we also have the 8-limb Ursarak coming down now. Roar. Sound effects.
Where's Tom?
Yeah, Tom's our sound effect guy. You'll see him at the art panel.
Next, we have Broken Skull Bay, home to the Broken Skull Pirates. It is from here where the pirates launched their forays onto the seas of Norath. Led by the dread Captain Krasnok from his ship, the Hate's Fury, the pirates are a scourge on all the seas.
Twice I got to hit it. So this is the hidden base of the Broken Skull Pirates. They build vertically within the deep chasm, connecting their structures with scaffolding and bridges. We wanted it to feel like a pirate city. It's really communal. But, of course, it's littered with all their pirate spoils.
You can say booty.
No.
Okay, can't say booty, sorry. Zaveth Loa is a volcanic underground cavern peopled by a lizardkin tribe called the Aluthoa. They've been driven to the surface where they terrorize the pygmies and the dinosaurs that the pygmies worship. It'll be up to you to explore the depths and find out what drove the lizardkin to the surface.
So Zaveth Loa is our take on a journey to the center of the earth type dungeon. The idea here is it's its own unique ecosystem sustained by the hot molten center and cool watery surrounds causing everything to grow out of control. There's like a ton of cool alien-ish plant life only found here.
And down here for NPCs, you will find more giant lizards, and you also find the Alathoa, the lizardkin, who have risen up and they're taking over everything in their path.
Finally, we have the Ossuary of Malevolence, home to the cult of Primordial Malice. They're a tribe of priests and priestesses devoted to the demigoddess Lannis. They desecrate their bodies to show their love for their fallen mistress.
That's cool. So the ossuary was heavily inspired by those awesome bone churches of Europe. The idea here was that the bricks, walls, mortar, everything was made of the bones of the fallen enemies, sacrificial offerings brought to this place. We wanted the zone to feel like it had a sinister motive all on its own. Something's definitely going on here, but what? So each wing of the dungeon was created to answer a bit more of that puzzle.
And in here you'll find the Primordial Malice. These guys are doing ritual sacrifices to themselves to bring themselves to the undead. So to show that with their piercing bones through their arms, their bodies are scarred up as they scrape skin away from their tissue. Yeah, I definitely, the reference would give me nightmares, so I can finally sleep again now.
Well, thank you all. That was just a brief look at some of the themes that we're making up the zones and dungeons and the Altar of Malice. I can't wait for you all to jump in and play beta with us, but now I'm going to welcome Holly back to the stage.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Don't go anywhere. Stay where you are. I know they always try and run away on me. With that said, this expansion is still a work in progress. We have a ways to go, and we'll be starting beta probably end of September, early October. So look for invitations to that. We'd love to have you help us with testing it and getting a deeper look inside it. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening, I think, as you can see. So with that, I think we've got a couple prizes to give away. So when I said there was going to be a quiz after, I wasn't kidding. So if anyone in the room can tell me what language was on Jeff Bard's driver's license. Who said Gnomish? You win an SSD from HyperX. Yay! Suits me excited. Yay! It's like my Pee Wee Herman impression or something. Thanks, Carlos. That's Carlos Mora, one of our designers. Ninja. People call him Ganinja, which I don't get. And for our second prize, which goes hand in hand with us saying thank you to you. Happy anniversary to all of our EverQuest 2 players. So while you clap for yourselves, keep an eye on that image. Honestly, thank you. And thanks to the dev team, too. We'll have them come up in a minute. So the first person who can tell me the actual name of the red-colored sword in the background? Oh, wow. You win. 64 gig HyperX. What is it? Thumb drive? Cool. Thank you. I knew we wouldn't be able to trick you guys. What's the sword? It's AT-UP. So, Soulfire. Yeah. Can you turn on Carlos's mic? He'll give you all the nerdy details. So basically it's the Keynote Claymore, the Rowan Thayer versions of the Keynote Claymore.
Nathan McCall
and Soulfire. Because we thought it would be relevant, right? We didn't want to put, to be honest with you, we didn't want to put Antonio Lincoln on another logo. And we thought that would be way cooler.
Fatkins on the forums.
So with that, I want to invite the devs. We've had them.
I'm John Lyons. I'm Lukia on the forums.
Hi, and I'm Kyle Valee, Candor on the forums.
If we could have anybody who has any questions, go ahead and line up on this side behind the camera, and we'll take your questions.
There's one now.
Quickly. Don't all stand up at once.
Oh, you're a cheater.
There's also a Q&A panel directly after this in the next room. We're sharing mics, so I have to come around later.
Actually, it's a two-part question. I'm in a guild that has a lot of crafters and decorators in it, and one thing that frustrates them is that there's no place for them to store recipes other than in the guild bank. And when you've got 9 crafting classes in a large guild, you know, a library stand would be good for that. And they also wanted to know if we can purchase a leveled 85 adventurer and go out and get our groups killed because we don't know how to play it right yet. Why can't we get an 85 crafter? Same way.
Don't look at me. It was a design choice. I'm like, yeah, I'll let Candor answer it. That's a design choice. We take our crafters seriously, and we don't want to give away all the time investment that they've put in to those incredible characters. You could make that argument for adventuring as well, but we're very protective of our trade skillers. But Candor can give you more detail on that, or Keith, or Robert, whatever your name is.
Whatever.
Just kidding. Robert Keith. I know. What's your name?
So first, I'm going to answer the first question. Recipe scrolls and spell scrolls, due to the way they work, and they can't be currently placed in a depot, but it's something we're looking to change. We're just finding out the right way to do it first. As far as for having a 85 trade skiller, it's not something we're looking at right now, partially because it is a matter of hours for a lot of people to level those right now. And crafting, it impacts the economy. The more crafters there are, the less there are for the crafters that currently do. So bumping people straight up to 85 actually detracts from those that do the work to get there and having something that they can sell, some kind of product they can put out there. And we're looking to make a lot more products that people could put out there.
I know in the past, it might have been the Shadow Odyssey, there was we had a lot of procking items. And when the next expansion came out, the upgrades for these items didn't have the procs and people didn't want to use the upgrades. Because we have a lot of items now that upgrade, have a lot of charms, that have all these effects, what's going to be done when this expansion comes out, or is there thought being done that it's going to make us want to get all these new items without losing all these really awesome proc effects, or is everything we get now going to have these proc effects and more?
Yes.
That was an easy one.
I think we have time for one more question, but keep your lineup. We're going to be heading next door for the full Q&A panel, so we'll definitely get to the questions, but we know you people will need to move around. So go ahead.
All right, I got two questions. One is, are we going to see any outdoor zones that we can just build a dungeon in Dungeon Maker, like the Tenebrous Tangle Islands you got for decorators? And then the second question is, can we see status rewards be put on the advanced solo dailies, or just even group dailies, since there's you can do infinite status with the trade skill rates and whatnot?
Yeah, we have a lot of plans to put a lot more ways for you to get status. So I'm hoping that we're thinking about it. That was why we put the status merchant in, and we're going to be adding stuff to it all the time. And so, as you saw, we have shinies coming. Shinies are going to be worth status, so you can sell your shinies if you already filled your collections. And we're going to be making sure that, you know, heroic zone bosses and advanced solo bosses and raid bosses all have status. We're going to be upping the amount of status that they give. And we can even put status on like daily missions and stuff like that. So, yeah. I'm not answering any Dungeon Maker questions.
All right, so that'll conclude our what? I was terrified somebody was going to be like, show me your dragon. No. We'll get him to do it.
we do want to hear you more when they ask for EQ2 players, though. And, you know.
All right, anyway, so hopefully we'll see you at the Q&A. If you have any questions, of course, we're here all weekend. Please come and talk to us. That is why we are here. We want to hear from you, your feedback, and your input, of course. Thank you so much. We love you, and we'll see you in the expansion.